Hello everybody. This is going to be a little bit of a different one from my channel. I do want to shout out a couple people before we even get started. The big skig in my community helped us find out the infinite stacking enerate bug with the Sickers, and Ignis, who I think a lot of you actually do know as another creator who does silly things like this, helped us put the two and two together with the infinite stacking and the enervate inherit. But what you saw at the beginning of the video is essentially us taking the inherit crit from secondary enervate and putting it into our exalted weapons. Now, if I'm completely honest, this isn't a fully viable way to play all the way, and it's slow to get set up, but in endless missions it works. So we're actually using, I believe it's 3 different bugs here. We start with the original enerate bug, which is on our exalted weapons with Titania and Hildren, or Jade as well. If you build up enervate stacks and then leave your exalted form and then re-enter it, the enervate stacks will stay permanently. Now, a couple of people have noticed this one and have made videos on it, and that's fine. That is the enervate inherit, and it is a bug. It should get fixed at some point, but it has been a while, so we're making this video. Number 2, the Sickers has a incarnate evolution on its first evolution that makes it so that body shots are guaranteed to not crit. They add a 0.0 times, which means, or 0 times, which 100 times 0 is 0, 1000 times 0 is 0, so it doesn't matter what it is just guaranteed 0, which means secondary enervate infinitely stacks on this weapon until you get a headshot. Well, something we tested on stream and in this simulacrum run here, if you swap to your exalted weapon and then hit a few times without resetting enervate, it actually inherits the enervate stacks from the secondary onto the exalted weapon. It actually takes those stacks and permanently swaps them. Now, because of the enervate bug, where you leave Razor Wing or leave your 4 on Hildren or leave your 4 on Jade, they keep those stacks permanently. Well, that makes it really easy to hit damage cap hundreds of thousands of % of crit because of the Sickers. Now, it doesn't stack as high. I'm not using a great build for this because I could have used a reload, or I could have used punch through and would have stacked it a little bit faster, but we weren't going for that, and obviously it's not needed. It took us about 5 or 6 minutes to hit damage cap, and then that would be locked in for the remainder of a mission, which means if you just decided to do a Void Cascade level cap, for example, for the rest of the mission you do damage cap for every hit in the entire game, which obviously, as you can tell, is a little silly. I did forget one thing: you do have to not be host. If you're the host, this does not work. You need to be a participant in a party. I believe it has something to do with the latency issue, or a latency issue between the two, the host and the participant. For the enervate bug to work, it works really as intended, or not as intended, but simply just from entering and exiting your exalted forms. You have to have enervate stacks as you leave your exalted form and re-enter it. It has to be inherited to your exalted weapon. It has to stay on your exalted weapon when you leave the form, and then when you re-enter it, the enervate stacks will be capped, or will be inherited. They will stay permanently. This was a little silly thing that we did. It's funny. I don't think you should do this. It is fun if you want to try it, but it was definitely a good time. Yeah, the Sickers, being a weapon that I genuinely don't really use that much, despite it being really strong, is very silly for this. Again, if you just stack up to like 10,000% crit, you can inherit 10,000% crit to your exalted weapon, and then you'll hit damage cap or close to damage cap very easily. It is silly. At the beginning you saw me doing damage to the Dedicants, that being the damage attenuation stopping us from one-shotting them. However, it is damage cap. It does kill everything else in the game instantly, like damage cap should. Anyways, make sure to sub to Ignis on YouTube and follow the Big Skig on Twitch if you're interested in some more. And I will see you guys in the next one. Goodbye!